BONK is making all-time highs. It's doing very, very well. And if I could do a funny Trump accent or Trump impression, I can't do one. That's embarrassing. Either way, the point is, BONK, we like the dog. We like the dog. We like BONK. And I'm going to tell you why. The amount of research that's gone to this, big thanks to Tyler, is insane. I'm going to make sure this is going live because I think this will be the best resource for BONK news for the next year, until the end of the year. So it will be an AMA at the end, but until then, let's just make sure that we are going live properly on Twitter. I'll ping this out to people ideally for a retweet if it works for me. My Twitter is not working. Everyone can hear me. Yep. Okay, what's going on? Why is my Twitter rugging? Okay. Poor Twitter. What are you doing to me? Okay, let's just do a... Don't know if it's Brave browser, sorry, or if it's literally Twitter, but let's just have a look at another page. This. All right. For whatever reason, we're not having much luck with my Brave browser. So everything's loaded, but I can't click on a new page for some reason. It doesn't want to play ball. All good. Let's just go through all the news. Take these questions as they come. So if you don't already know, Solana-based Memecoin BONK hits a new all-time high. We're slightly down from that right now, but we have crossed the all-time high. We can see it if we have a look at the charts. Kaboom, and we've gone down a little bit, but I think we're going to go and do much better. This is slightly higher than this wick way back in February, March, beginning of the year. Now, like, as much as I would like to admit it, memes are here to stay. Memes are going to go wild. The Murad Memedov thesis rings very, very true to me. And I was watching something from Taiki Maeda, who I would show you on the screen, but it's not going to work out for me. Basically, this guy he had the humble DeFi farmer, thesis back in the previous cycle. And now he just kind of does podcasts with people. And he was doing this podcast with Murad. And he said, Murad said something like, the way you make a cult is you make poor people rich, because then if they make enough money, they will quit their jobs and they will just become like born again Christians, or anyone that's kind of like really intensely believes in something. And BONK has made a lot of people potentially rich, or has a thesis of being rich. And that's why I think that's going to do very, very well. And then meme coins in general, as much as I love Camino and Dupe and all these tokens, there is the tokenomic structure, the way they're structured, is good for previous cycles. It's not working perfectly for this cycle. Meaning, yeah, we'll still make bank, I think. But, Camino's 13 cents. Maybe it goes to $1. Long term, it could go even higher. It's more of a safer play, but it's not that thing that just gets the endorphins pumping. So this is from Neste, and what we're looking at here is like, this is where we are right now. We've just kind of had this leg up when we're comparing the fractal to a previous cycle, and we still have all of this. Plus, all of this could go on, although some people say, a couple of months or something. I don't see why it wouldn't go on till end of next year. It could go a little longer. It could go into 2026. Don't think that's necessarily going to happen, though. So we're right now at the beginning. You're probably looking at all-time highs and you're thinking, I've missed it. Not saying go and leverage at this stage, or I'm not even telling you to do anything, but adding to my spot position at this stage still makes perfect sense to me. Once again, shout out to Tyler for doing all this research. So we can always use this, which is the market cap of tool. It just kind of gives a nice bit of hopium. And so right now, if BONK had the market cap of Doge, it would be a 20x. And I don't think getting to 50 billion is actually that difficult. I would be quite impressed. I wouldn't even be surprised if it made to 100 billion. it would be tough. Of course, it'd be tough, but I don't think it would be impossible. It would involve, team early contributors maybe burning some of their tokens or whatever. But for the grand scheme, I think it could happen. Either way, like a 20x, a 15x from here, I think that's likely. And as much as I love Sol, and I do think you should take profits, put into Sol, stake your Sol with Validate.com, the reality is a 15x on Sol is very, very difficult to achieve. Now, I did this BONK history thread February. This will be linked below at the end. The intern will go and throw everything in here. But what I want to just talk about is I just want to say how bad it was when FTX rugged. How devastating. I don't know personally anyone that committed suicide or anything like that. And I hope there was, I hope that there were not many people. I hope people managed to see a light at the end of the tunnel. But it was a dark, dark time. Sol went to $8 in December. And on Christmas Day, BONK was released. And I actually remember looking at my phone, wanting to buy some. And my wife told me, no, we're with the family. It's Christmas Day. Get off your phone. You're not allowed to do this. Annoying, but it is what it is. And I respect her viewpoint, of course. But it was properly brutal when FTX rugged. It was very heartbreaking, just real sick feeling in my stomach, because I was had way too many. I had the majority of my funds on there, and ever since then I just had to start hustling in order just to pay my bills. Either way, BONK came out and it actually did revive life. And I don't actually think, if BONK didn't come out, I don't think we would have been alive right now. I don't think Solana would have recovered. It was too brutal. I think Anatoly said something like, they had 18 months of runway or something, or 12 months of runway, because the price of Sol was so low. And you don't just want to go and start selling all your Sol in order to keep a foundation and team on, because then it's just huge sell pressure. So you can have a look at this yourself. But basically, this saved us. Now, let's get on to the next bit of news. There are some people that got a huge amount, like 25 billion BONK, if you're part of Lamport DAO devs, and this was worth a decent amount, $880. Some people went and sold it. A couple of weeks later, it was worth $50,000. And I remember pinging one dev, because I saw his wallet address had it. He had a .sol name. I said, hey, just so you know, you've got this. I wouldn't be selling it. If you need some for bills, fine, but I wouldn't sell it all. He sold it all. He then later said he should have listened. Now, remember, the Solana Saga phone, which is not very good as a phone, but I have two of them, and I haven't sold any of my BONK on them. They just sit there. That alone has paid for the phone, which is brilliant. You can't get this anymore, the Solana Saga. But that was why the Saga actually sold out. There was only 5,000 or something, or maybe 8,000 that had shipped initially, because it was an expensive phone. It was the same price, a similar price to an Apple iPhone or Samsung, and it was nowhere near as good. I bought one at full price, and I bought one at this discounted price. So if you do have a Saga phone, make sure you've set up that seed phrase, because you can claim that BONK, just in case you've got one sealed. If you've got one sealed, I don't know how long they're going to honor the BONK for. Probably forever. I just don't know. Now, one thing is, when it comes to why would you buy BONK? And by the way, there's no special sponsor. There's no agreement with BONK. I'm just making this video because I think it has the most amount of upside for the Solana community itself. They're of the bigger altcoins, of the bigger market cap meme coins. But I just want to mention why becoming a BONK millionaire matters. So there's a guy on YouTube called BONK Crypto, Theodore, and I used to help him with some of his not his whiteboard animation videos, but other videos for his private group in the previous cycle. And I remember at one stage, I think in the Shiba Inu video, it talks about what would it could Shiba go to $1? And as much as the people watching this right now will think, no, of course it can't go to $1. That's just silly. That would be like the entire market cap of everything on Earth or whatever. But that's not how a normal person thinks. If they look at this right now and they see a million bonk, they will think, okay, I can turn 40. Imagine if I can turn $47 into and I get a million bonk and it becomes worth 10 cents each or $1 each, right? That's how you think. You don't go and work out the market cap and the burn and the fully diluted valuation, not as a normal person. This is called unit bias. Some people think it doesn't work, like Ansem doesn't think it works. I 100% am sure it works because I've seen comments on different videos. Ansem is super brilliant in many ways, but how well does he know a brand new person that doesn't understand what a market cap is? So what this relates to, meme the dream, 11 cents. 11 cents is not going to happen, right? But it's funny and it's memeable. Basically, there was a spike on Coinbase up to 11 cents, and that's why that happened. And this is just all along. This is what this poll was. Only 288 votes, so more. But if this was done to a normie ground, you would see that people don't care about a market cap when they're proper normies. It's just price of coin. If you can buy something that's less than a cent, or if you go and buy a whiff that's $4, it just doesn't make sense from a unit bias kind of point of view. There's probably like an upper limit. Like this is, I think, what Bonk's like 1 trillion or 10 trillion supply, 10 trillion, I think. You can't go and have like, 100 trillion tokens, because then it just gets harder and harder. Although it does work, I think over 1 billion tokens works, and with under 100 million tokens, it doesn't work perfectly. Let me just take a couple of live questions now, just so that everyone kind of gets them all here. You bought some Bonk. Perfect. Well, not financial advice, but I love as well. And yeah, I'm live, so thanks very much for joining. Hi, Nick. You're competing for my wife as my biggest fan. I appreciate it. Why we need at least 10 million in wallet, and what's the deadline for a snapshot? There is no snapshot on this. The 10 million is why it's referenced quite often, is because other projects have airdropped in the past to people that had 10 million bonk in their wallets. So like, if you had 10 million bonk, you probably got another couple $100 worth of random airdrops. That's no longer really the case because of the fact that it's so expensive to airdrop until Helios Airship comes out properly. I've got a decent number of tabs. Bongo Cat, I didn't see it, but in general, the Bonk guy, like, he is so much alpha out of there. We've got some other random questions. I just want to try and keep this on subject of meme coins. Why is Camino going down? Oh, things go up and down all the time. Like, it's gone up to 16 cents now, it's under 13 cents. That's not really a big deal to me. What lower cap meme coins? I have no idea. And I think if I go out and say something, it would kind of be a little pump and dump. And I would like to get something that I really like. And I'd like to know a core thesis. Like, I like Boo, but I haven't looked at all the holders. So I'm not adding any more Boo. I'm down on my position, etc. What if there is no normal person anymore? There are so many normies out there. I'm getting some more artwork kind of commissioned. I said I'll pay someone in fiat. This is a friend, but I'd prefer if I could pay them in crypto. I'd hold the keys and give them to them when they're ready. And if it ever went down before they took ownership, I would just pay them in fiat. So I'd take all the risk. And people are still like, but then as soon as things go up, they are like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, I'm interested now. Can I have some of that bonk? It will happen. Can we vote on bonk rewards? Don't know what you mean by that. Let's continue on. We'll take some more questions afterwards. Okay. Now, the bonk guy, he doesn't like just bonk. He does like whiff. So if you thought to yourself, Seb just keeps on referencing the bonk guy. The guy is clearly just a bonk maxi. The guy is, his biggest position is Flocky. It's public. It's, I don't know if this is public, so I won't say it. It's significantly higher than his Bonk position. He just likes Bonk because he managed to turn $16,000 into what's currently probably $17 million. He's paid over $1 million in funding. If you don't understand funding rates, very worthwhile to learn before you do any leverage. But he has whiff as well. And he's turned 6K into about $1 million, currently 1.4 million at peak. So, and he hasn't sold any. So he just understands things as much as, if you had both whiff and bonk, fine by me. I'm just saying, don't fade the dog. There are people out there that can completely rotate out bonk. Gumshoe is one. Don't know why. He sold it for whiff, and now I think, to me, it's like you're forgetting what saved Solana. Anyway, he has said, and once again, like this guy, if you just followed his calls over, not his calls, just his tweets, if you just followed his tweets over the last 6 months, you would have outperformed pretty much everybody, right? Cat did well, Flocky doing well, Doge, all these things. If you went back further, like you would have probably outperformed everybody other than people that got lucky on things. He said, I've repeatedly said that Bonk will outperform with this cycle for reasons that include Bonk's unit bias advantage. And then he gets attacked by people, blah, 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 blah. GCR, one of the best traders on crypto Twitter, and you can find his account, also repeatedly hammered on this being a key factor in Memecoin's mainstream success last cycle when he predicted Sheep and Flocky mega rallies. It like unit bias is real. And anyone that says it's not, I just think you're wrong. And I couldn't even be bothered debating just because I don't know where your thesis comes from, other than maybe just bag bias. Okay, so Bonk holders 805,000, apparently slightly less than when, maybe. When token could have slightly more. Let's just double check. No, okay, that was way off. Sorry, my notes say it's the second biggest number of holders on this Solana, but maybe that's just wrong. Pretty sure it's number one in terms of the most number of holders. 805,000 and 92. 92. So it was 100 trillion. So it was 100 trillion and 8 trillion have been burnt. Dog with hat. They have just under 1 billion supply. I mean, I'm assuming it just was 1 billion. Then there's a little bit of a burn. I didn't even know they were burning theirs, but okay. And they've got 200,000 holders. It does matter, of course. I've got Bonk in over 40 different wallets just randomly. And then we've got Popcat, just under 1 billion supply, and holders 101,000. So I think you need to factor this in. 800,000 versus 200 versus 100. That's something that I think needs to be factored for sure. Let's take a couple more questions. Bonkers are retracing a lot lately, really have strong resistance. What could make it past this resistance? Well, we'll go over the fundamental news on what could make it past this. Like the massive burn, which we're going to go into. What is your largest holdings? Sol. Boring. I'm boring, but I like being boring. I mean, I am the general manager of Validate.com. If I didn't like Sol, that would be strange. Best place for longing stuff like Bonk Whiff, etc. Flash Beast. So you can use Flash Trade. Just with Flash Trade, if you're going to long it, fine. You can also use Drift, but if you're going to long it, good. If you provide liquidity, I would not suggest providing liquidity because you will not outperform holding it, in my opinion. What do you think about the Divi airdrop? We got 16 cents each. Unfortunately, I want Divi to succeed. This is in relation to Bonk Live, by the way. However, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them to get the momentum. They've done things, I don't know, just not perfect. Do you know what star power? I don't know what it is. I do not know, but we can put it to the list. So this is what's going to make things go crazy viral. One guy said he's not going to post his P&L until it's 50 million. So he's going to pause. then you're going to see something that says 50 million. It's going to reach 50 million. And what if it reaches 100 million? That's going to be in thousands of videos, thousands of tweets. It's going to go into TikToks, and it's going to do, it's a success story of $16,000 to 100 million when if it reaches that. And I think it will. And that is where, that's where more people flock in. They don't understand that, at this stage of the cycle, you can't make these crazy gains. They're just going to see that and they're going to go, well, what if it did this? Now, BONK has a crazy number of integrations, which doesn't necessarily help a meme coin other than the fact of extra brand awareness. It's on multiple different blockchains and integrating different things. And they're not being shipped by the BONK team. The BONK early contributors are not a team. They're being shipped by people that applied for a grant and did something. So sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, but it still kind of enhances the ecosystem. Like BONK rewards, you go and lock up your BONK for 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, and from the fees generated from BonkBot, portion of them, and various other things, you get more BONK coming to you, which I do. It's good. You can also build your BONK Dragon, which if you're too late to this, still doing it, still do it. Your rewards come BONKmas, BONK Christmas will probably be minor, but I still think it's worth doing. This wallet has not done anything, so that's shame on me. But my other wallets have. There's other things like BONK Swap, where you can DCA into BONK, provide liquidity. Nothing that I think is necessarily amazing, especially when you've got Jupiter, but still, it's a cool thing. You get bonuses if you do it like this. And then you got BONK Bets, which not available in my region until I start going on holiday. Okay, a couple more questions. Let's see how we go. Keep hearing over the years about BONK votes, but never saw anything about voting at BONK rewards. Yeah, okay. So you don't vote at BONK rewards. You vote at the BONK DAO, and you can now use your locked BONK as part of your vote. So I'll show you quickly. If I can recall the URL. BONK DAO. I think it's this. So let me just connect my wallet one moment, and I'll show you what it looks like. BonkDAO.com, connect a wallet, Solflare, kaboom. You can see in this tutorial, I have locked BONK. So if there was an active proposal, which there isn't, then you'd come and click on it, you go click, and you would use your locked BONK. You can either deposit BONK, do it, and then withdraw it afterwards, or you can go and delegate to an address on behalf, which I may see if I can set up to be like a delegation for people so I can do your votes. But this is what it is. So that's how you use the BONK DAO stuff. That's how you vote with your locked BONK at BONK DAO. Okay. Let's keep going for a few minutes. So we've got BonkBot here, which is cool. If you want to buy and sell things on Telegram, and then there's a fee, and then the fee goes and buys BONK, and then they burn some of that BONK, and then the BonkBot team actually just earns decent income themselves. And then why would price go up? Burns are fantastic. 100 billion BONK has been passed for the DAO proposal to go and burn this. So burn it from the coffers, burn it from the treasury, and kaboom. This is the burn right here. Almost, well, it's now worth 4 billion, but at the time it was 3.7 billion worth of BONK. In addition to that, as I said, BonkBot burns itself. I don't know how often they do these burns, but they do these burns. And at current prices, they've burnt 10.3 million. And the thing is, if you do not burn these, if you just think to yourself, okay, well, it won't go as high unless you've got this narrative of burn. You can meme the burn. You can do all these things that kind of encourage burns. And then apparently BonkBot, BurnBot, you can see, if you follow this, you can see every time something's burnt. Did I just skip a page? One moment. No. Okay. Now, The mission of BonkBot, or the mission of the BONK DAO, is to be, the biggest meme coin, I guess, of the world, and for everyone to know about McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Bonk, something like that. But their current mission by Christmas is to burn 1 trillion bonk. And this is what you can do to help. And this is genius. This is proper genius. So it kicks off yesterday, ends December 24th. The amount of bonk accumulated by the bonk community from various activities will then be burned. And you have to use Let's Bonk on X. For every post using hashtag Let's Bonk, 1,000 bonk will be burned. So I'll show you in a second, but we can see this. We can see why. We can track how many people are doing this, and they can use an API to see how many they can, and then they can screenshot it or whatever, or people can query it and verify it, and then they just go and they do that. And then in addition to that, you have new followers and subscribers on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I didn't even know that they did all these things. So then all you have to do is go to YouTube and subscribe. Bam. Same with TikTok, TikTok, and Instagram if you use these things. And that all gets, that's 10,000 bonk. Now let me just show you where we can see this Let's Bonk hashtag. Just need to find it quickly in my here, I think. Okay, so this was me like tracking Boo at one stage. So you come into Radar in Premium, and let's see if we can see here. Let's Bonk. Okay, it doesn't always work, sadly, unless it is 10 points. Okay, there we are. So you can see 26.4 thousand tweets. This will go higher and higher and higher as more and more people kind of catch on. Now, I'll show you something else. If we go Bonk and just search for how many people are just referencing Bonk, it seems like you have to give it a bit of a refresh because it doesn't seem to pull things correctly. 90,000 posts. I will show you, we'll have a look at Whiff. It's not Bonk versus Whiff. I'm far more keen if it's Bonk versus Pepe or something. 120,000. We could do when. This is why one of the reasons why I'm not excited on when. It's less in terms of this, and so on. Cardano, ADA. You can kind of see how well things are going from a crypto Twitter standpoint. Twitter bugs out slightly, but you can see it like that. And that's one of the tools that you can use to see the explosion of what I think is going to happen to Bonk. So let's sum this up. Well, let's let Sensei sum this up. It's back to all-time high, entering price discovery very soon. Bonk DAO just burned a whole lot of tokens. They'll burn 1 trillion in December. All we have to do is hashtag Let's Bonk. It's listed on Coinbase, so retail will see it. Soon to be listed on Robinhood. And there's the meme of that wick to 11 cents. That is a pretty decent summary of why I think the potential is high. This has already been referenced, so we'll skip that. Moonwalk steps as well. If you get amongst Moonwalk, every time there's a step, it's 100 bonk. And there's probably going to be a couple of million bonks every million steps, ideally, by December every single day. And it just kind of keeps on million times 100, 100 million, burn, 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 burn. Okay, inside Bonk. This is having a look at this is BURNmas.com, so we can see right now, right live. I'll get rid of my face. How much bonk is to be burned, and this can go up and up and up. And just need to do more of this. And then if this goes a little bit crazy viral, which is a smart campaign, that's what your candle will look like. Not financial advice, but that's what I think is going to happen. Solana Floor has gone and TLDR'd it. Worth following Solana Floor. And then 100K bonk burn per new burn hold as well. Burn is not a token I'm necessarily bullish on, but they're trying to lift up their token and create engagement. So well done to them. And then a whole lot more bonk just being burnt in general. Now, this doesn't excite me necessarily, but I'm not in the US, and maybe ETPs are worthwhile. It's kind of like an ETF, but it's not an ETF. But being able to buy this makes it far easier for some random institution to go, yeah, I kind of like that. Let's get amongst it. So this is overall, it's cool. I mean, it's not going to have an actual exchange, like an ETF, an exchange traded fund, but an exchange traded product, that's still cool. So this is what Easy says. It's only meme that traditional finance can purchase. How many of you overlooked the fact they launched an ETP at breakpoint? Context, that's an exchange traded product. It's the most direct path outside of direct listing to an ETF. So this is, like, I believe he's American. This is his thesis on why this is valuable. The ETP has value. And I imagine it does have value. Otherwise, they wouldn't have pursued it. It would have taken a huge amount of effort. It does have value. I just don't know the personal value. Now, this relates to CAT, but it also relates to BONK and CAT. So CAT is a meme coin on BNB chain, and they're moving liquidity to Solana. And anybody, and they're using live bonks, BonkPad, and whatnot. And this looks like it's a little bit of a collaboration, a worthy collaboration. And the reason why it's worthy is I think CAT has decent potential, and being on Solana is far, far better. It was launched on BNB because of Flocky and because ideally they wanted a Binance listing, but that has not come yet. So coming over here, it's still a BNB token, but it's on both. It's going to bring up that attention. And then what if people from Simon's Cat, what if the Flocky people that also have CAT then say, well, I wouldn't mind some bonk now that I'm playing over in Solana? I think it's a win-win in two different directions. I have no idea how big of a collaboration is, but I think that's pretty cool. And this was what BONK Live had put out. Basically, if you have locked BONK for 12 months, then tomorrow, sometime, we don't have the exact details, maybe there's an updated tweet, we'll have a quick look. Tomorrow, you'll be able to get some from Meteor in like a vault. And as I said, I don't have the exact details. So when I do, I'll just tweet it out or I'll put it in my Telegram. But I'll be jumping into this because you're buying CAT at a bit of a discount. How much? I'm unsure. All right, let's take a couple more questions, because we're almost running out of things to cover. Bozo mother. I'm not bullish on either of them. I think Mother I kind of was more interested in before I found out, like, Murad Memedov's thesis that celebrity tokens do not do well. They just haven't, and it hasn't performed well. So I think Iggy's doing the best out of the celebrity tokens, and she cares the most about trying to bring value. But I don't think that's how it works. I think there's other things that are far more valuable. Bozo, I don't have any. BONK has done a lot of marketing to appear visual to normies. Once again, to crypto, they remember. I agree. Cat with Hat might have more holders. Ooh, I don't know about that. Let's have a look. Cat with Hat is like a token 2022 standard token, which are kind of cool. They have like burn mechanisms and whatnot, but overall they haven't done as well. Holders, okay, you're right. How? Massive airdrop campaign. Congratulations to that. But Cat with Hat, it's not just holders, is it? Their market cap is 13 million. But good work. I really wanted to keep things on a bonk topic, so I'll answer these quickly. Yeah, optimistic for Uprock, but it's meme coin season. So if you have a bag of Uprock and you let the team ship and they manage to execute, cool. If they don't manage to execute, not cool. But I think they'll be able to execute. What do you think about the cat moving to Solana? I've kind of I've read it now and I just answered it before, but I think it's good. It's not moving per se. It's not like changing like DGods went to Ethereum, then they moved back. It's more about they're going to bridge a portion of the token. You've got liquidity on both events. So it's kind of like wormhole ETH. You can buy wormhole ETH on Solana, and you can go and buy ETH on Ethereum, and Polygon, and Optimism, and all those ones. Okay, I just got from Chris here, an assistant. Cat with hat airdrop to everyone who held any amount of dupe and a few other tokens, hence more holders. Bonk, my second biggest bag. Cool. Do you believe Memecoin era will end someday, or will Memecoin pumps always be a thing? I think I should show you this video that you can go and watch at your leisure. So, Taiki Maeda, Memecoin super cycle. Go and watch this. Try and watch a few things from this guy a couple of times to really get the thesis. One very cool thing is he said that this was all about people think it's a Memecoin super cycle this cycle, but the Memecoin super cycle started when Doge came out. It just had less and less. It had, one player, Doge, and then it had more players in the next cycle, and then a lot more dog coins last cycle. Obviously, you know that there's other dog coins out there we should know, such as Samoid and Woof. That's it. And they've lost their relevancy. Some have done well. Samoid. This is Samoid. It was harder to create a token back then. 65 million market cap, still up like 100%, of course, but it's just not super relevant. So the super cycle, I don't know why I have a lisp all of a sudden, but the super cycle has just started. Woof has not done well, but its all-time high was insane. The super cycles has been around, but now it's just becoming more of a thesis. It's kind of like the data was always there, and now someone's gone and looked at the data and said, this is what I think is going to happen. And thus far, he's been correct. There are people that say, like, money is going to rotate into utilities or whatever, but it is utility tokens. But it is very truthful that the majority of cryptos are casino. There's a lot of scams and rubbish things. And if we sit in the middle curve of a bell curve, if we sit there, we generally outperform. And I did in previous cycles. This is what it looks like. We'll do it with an IQ. And so you have some friend that comes along and they're like, okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, I'm just going to buy Doge. I'm just going to buy this. I'm just going to buy this. Or what about, bit of BTC? No, I just want this one. And then they tend to outperform those people that are like DCAing into PIF and this and this and this, because the tokenomics are not, they don't cater for pumpermentals. So I think, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, I think, the Memecoin era will eventually end. And like the goal is to do well this cycle, to do well before, October next year, as an example. Then meme coins will continue to be relevant, probably even more so in the future. But then again, what will happen is someone will work out that it's actually a better idea to have vesting and to have, proper team tokenomics and have full transparency, and that you can, and then governance will start to be more of a thing. So I think meme coins will always do well, but like there'll be more logical things that will start to claw back attention. I will not be covering any DLMMs today, Harry. So go make sure you're watching Token Guy's stuff, but I will be covering them far more in general. Everyone leaving Twitter due to all the racist content and heading blue sky. Twitter has more and more growth, so I don't think that's the case at all. How high do you see BONK's price going from the current price? I think if we go back to this one, like a market cap of 50 billion to 100 billion. I think that's overly bullish. So you'd take profits before then, of course. Not financial advice. I would take profits before that, of course. but I think that's possible. It doesn't go like that though, right? They go like this, you know, a whale comes along, boom, a big whiff whale. That, you know what you can do with whiff? You can go to the greatest DeFi borrowland dApp there is, go to Camino, and you can come down to the altcoin market. You can go and deposit $10 million worth of whiff. 10, 20, plug it in here, and then you can go and borrow BONK, and then you can go and swap it for USDC, and then you can go and take that USDC and go and buy more whiff and deposit it. People can push things down like that if they want to. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm saying it's happened in the past. For sheep specifically, you'd need to follow maybe like Bonk Guy. Like it'll probably pump up because it has like OG Ethereum peeps. But I also wonder if the OG Ethereum peeps really start to migrate elsewhere just to protect their bags. You're going to get some core believers, such as the bankless guys. But I think like David Hoffman and whatnot, these kind of guys that are like core believers, but they're going to lose edge this cycle. They're already losing edge, and I've seen this maybe a little bit too like, you know, anecdotal, but I've seen it from like maybe 10 different people. This is the one person that I remember. Rag he's the building at Cast, so like the CEO of Cast, which is the debit card dApp on your phone with crypto that I really, really dig. And he basically said like he's at DevCon, like, you know, one of the biggest Ethereum conferences, and there's nothing over there that's great. Well, 95% of stuff over there are not great. They're not doing well. You may have seen other memes that relate to the fact that they're going to try and improve the Ethereum layer 1 layer, but it's going to take like 9 years or something. Which, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes Shiba token or tokens like that, or Pepe, they do well, but they do well on a centralized exchange. There's no one that can go in and buy $30 worth because it costs you $40 in gas. So it doesn't work. They only buy them on centralized exchanges, and which isn't really what crypto is about, but you can do it. And I just think people, the Ethereum whales that, you know, have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of assets, they just go and buy these things in order to ramp in attention. It's like marketing. When bonk to 11 cents? Probably never. This cycle, not never. Holders benefit from making bonk go viral. Bonk benefits from going viral. Yeah, look, it's just community. Look after your community, and then they look after you. Stake.net. Cool. What's stake.net? Sounds like a validator. Stake.net. Stake.net. It's a validator with a stake coin. Cool. You can stake with them, but stake with validator.com as well. Thanks for always suggesting to buy Bonk. I think legally I should say thanks for telling people that I am buying Bonk and I like Bonk, and that you may want to consider looking into it. The wish I bought more part, I understand why you've said it, but you can't be like that, because I am guilty of seeing Gloom do this and think to myself, oh, let me just go and find $10,000 in a wallet and go and do what he did. And I didn't. And now, I mean, I wouldn't have written it like he did. This is pure cojones. But don't think like that. You can always still DCA in, right? I still think it goes to $50 billion market cap. And if it does, then you're still going to make 20x. You don't have to do it though. Dupe price prediction, I can't give you that. And I can't give you that until we have some more clarity on the dupe DAO vote and all that sort of stuff. But like it should go bigger than what Uniswap is, for sure. So CatWiff it's a token 2022 standard, so it has a burn mechanism, which is fine, but it hasn't worked out for their price. And I don't think people really like that. It adds in like another degree of difficulty. I haven't seen any successful tokens this cycle that have had that. I think SafeMoon on BNB in the previous cycle had that. Opinion on Giga after the big dump from the hacked whale. Well, Giga, like the only reason why I think I've added some Giga is because Murad Memedov has said, I like Giga. That's it. That's all I know about that. Blue sky is cope. Okay, this is referring to everyone leaving Twitter. Dude, I still don't understand what that means. Cool. All right, thanks for joining in. I need to get on with the rest of my day. You should as well. But that has been my BONK thesis. If you want to tell me why I'm wrong, happy to hear. I'll read the comments and we can do it another day. But just I want to make clear that it's not, I don't have a viewpoint of you should only hold BONK. I just think that BONK is worthy of having in your portfolio. It's done very well. It's got attention. When people fade BONK on Solana, and if they're playing over here, then I feel that's a little bit of a recipe for disaster. I faded whiff early. I definitely did. And so now I have a little bit of whiff, but I have a tiny amount of whiff. I just don't think that the unit bias is going to be positive for it. Thanks very much for joining, and I'll catch you on Monday. However, remember, tomorrow there will be a chance to get into the Media Revolt. So just make sure you're in my Telegram, and I'll just ping when that goes live to buy a cat token. And when you buy the cat token, you have to use the same wallet that you've got 12 months worth of BONK locked up for. And if you do not have 12 months worth of BONK, if you do not have BONK locked up for 12 months at bonkrewards.com, then what are you doing? Nothing is financial advice. Thanks for watching. Cheers.